Hello, my name is Sheryl Shaffer. Welcome to a special episode of Veterans Helping Veterans TV. A few months back, I was offered the opportunity of a lifetime to go on a special flight with Rosie the Riveter. Rosie the Riveter is Elinor Otto, and we were able to go on this flight with the 452nd Air Mobility Wing at a March Air Reserve base. This was just an amazing experience. It is all about empowerment. We are trying to empower the younger generation of girls to get into science, technology, engineering, and math, because those are the skills that are needed in today's workforce. We were able to go on this incredible flight, and here's a picture of Elinor. She was honored by the Air Force and offered this flight. This was the first time she flew in one of the aircraft she helped to build. It is on record that she was part of the team that built every single Globemaster C-17 aircraft, and they had this wonderful event to encourage young girls to consider going into the Air Force and getting into science, technology, engineering, and math. We had the Civil Air Patrol cadets who were on flight with us, and we had a two-star general who was our co-pilot, and two-star general who is a leader and wants to encourage women to consider joining the Air Force so they can achieve their goals of learning technology. Rosie the Riveter, yes, we can do this. And when we came off the flight, everybody was inspired by her, and we all had these great photographs. So here's part of the crew with Rosie in the center. Elinor Otto is truly an amazing woman. Here we are boarding the C-17 Globemaster. This flight was an air mobility medical exercise, so they had a full crew on there. As you can see, most of the crew members are women, and that is really what this is all about, encouraging girls and women to consider science, technology, engineering, and math. That is where the future of our jobs are at. What a great example to see these young women doing the jobs. Amazing work, what they do in helping the military. Mainly an all-female crew. Elinor Otto in the cockpit. This was the first flight she flew on, one of the planes that she helped to make. We were able to film at March Airfield Museum. This is where we did our interview. And we have a Civil Air Patrol cadet who is going to do the interview with Elinor. I would like to take the opportunity to thank my co-producer, Shawn Spitler, who filmed this project for us. Rosie the Riveter inspired us. She's an awesome example of what women can do.
This is Elinor Otto. It would be an understatement to say the impact she's had on my generation is immeasurable. She is one of the last living Rosie the Riveters. You might remember the recruiting poster. Yeah, that one. My name is Abigail Spitler. That's me in the dress uniform. I am a cadet in Civil Air Patrol, aiming to be a pilot in the Air Force. It was my great pleasure to interview Elinor at the March Air Museum in Riverside, California. Can you paint us a picture of what your life specifically was like prior to the war?
It was just a normal life, just going to school, getting married, and working, different jobs. I worked in the office, typing. You probably maybe heard of a typewriter?
Yes.
And I used to type, and I got bored with that because you had to sit down a lot, and I didn't like that. So I got up and did other things like car hopping. Maybe she don't remember that. Car hopping, bringing food to cars, because that would get me going where I could walk around and feel free and exercise. So that was good, and things like that. And some waitress work in some restaurants. Everything to be on my feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Right before the war, when Pearl Harbor was bombed, where were you, and what was the atmosphere like when you heard of it, and what was people's reactions?
I was in Santa Monica with my stepdad and mom. We were driving up and down Santa Monica Boulevard looking for a place to have breakfast. 8 o'clock in the morning, came over the radio. Pearl Harbor was just bombed. And my stepdad, he was a chief naval officer, he said, "Don't worry, we're not gonna have a war, Okay. Then later on, of course, Roosevelt came on the radio. This day will live in infamy and all that. And things started to change right away.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, things were different. Although we had no technology then or anything, but people all of a sudden just got together. They just got together and tried to do everything they could. And the military, of course, we were worried they were leaving to go to war and all that, and all the things we heard about Pearl Harbor. It was not a very exciting time, I'll tell you. Not that time, no. It was very sad. People lost a lot of people,
Right.
in the war.
After Pearl Harbor, how long after that did you start looking and seeing that women were going into aviation and riveting, and what was your transition into that?
They were advertising for women because the men were going off to war, and they needed the airplanes built as fast as they could get them. So we went and applied and just got hired just like that, and there was no time for school to teach us anything, so we had lead men that had experience in airplanes, and so they taught us how to do these jobs.
Right.
At first the men kind of resented working with women, thinking they couldn't smoke or couldn't take their shirts off or whatever in the summertime. But finally, when they saw that we cooperated and did everything they told us to do, we all got along real great and got the planes out on schedule. That's what the main thing was, get planes out on schedule.
Mm-hmm. Was your family, supportive of your decision to go into a job like that?
Oh yes, very much. I thought it was just great. Something different,
Right.
We was using men's tools, using how to use them and everything, and it was great because before we got the rivet gun, there was a machine that you put your thread on like a sewing machine. You put the rivet part in there and then stamped it down. I saw that in a museum recently. They still had that in some museum before the rivet gun came. So it was easier with the rivet gun, actually. You could go on different places,
Throughout your lifetime, how have you seen the world change?
It's changed very much. They say that we paved the way for women. I've sat at lunch with CEO women in big organizations, and they thanked us for doing that because now they get all these wonderful jobs. And then I was with some female pilots. One time I said, I will not fly an airplane with a woman pilot. It was the best one of fighting. They came and told me, you just did. Oh, that was the best flight I ever had. So that changed me completely. I felt like a lady chauvinist. But they were wonderful, just wonderful.
Yeah.
So, I see the technology of the young generation, because we didn't have all this technology in those days. We just had to do what we had to do with what material we had.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. So This is going to be a Rosie, a new Rosie technology.
Mm-hmm. And you're a part of the program, the Spirit of 45. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's we have to keep that in each generation, that they won't forget what happened in 1945, that the war ended,
Mm-hmm.
and changed the world, and changed women and men working together, and women being respected in any kind of job. You know, there was not that kind of respect in my day when I first started.
Right.
They didn't think we could do very much. That's why we did the little jobs we did. It's a beautiful thing to remember 1945. When I was in school, our history books were very interesting because they just mentioned this happened in 1911, this happened in 1800, just a bunch of years. And so now, with the knowledge going on, people are learning with the technology of the computer and movies, and they can learn faster that way, you
Right.
know, about history.
Yeah.
And it seems like the younger generation is enjoying history more.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they, after all these years, they're thinking of the Rosies and the women that went to work. We didn't think about all these years. It was never a thought in our mind that we did anything. Yeah, we worked during the war, that's what we said. You know, big deal. Now all of a sudden, it's a big deal. It's amazing. I mean, we're so thrilled about it. We are. I mean, the Rosies are just so happy about all the attention and appreciation and respect that we get. We are.
Mm-hmm. After the war, when men started coming back,
Yes.
And obviously maybe wanting their jobs back as riveters, how did you stay in that and work as long as you did?
Within days, they laid us off. But we didn't care because we knew that it would happen. We were there for a short time to do what we had to do, but we didn't think it was important until 70 years later. I mean, they didn't tell us we did anything good. We just said goodbye, thank you, and all that, and knew that we were so happy that the men came back and got their jobs back. We were the ones that were lucky enough to come back. We were so happy for them, and we didn't care that they let us off. We just took it for granted it would happen anyway. You know, that's the way it's supposed to be. So, I don't know, it just, anyway,
Yeah.
it was a sad time.
What are you excited for young women and aviation?
I won't be around, but looking forward to that, for technology. I want all the young people to learn all the top technology jobs, and you'll all be having a good life, you know, study engineering, what do you want to do in aviation, and top jobs they have now. Because women are welcomed in any industry.
Right. Which is incredible because...
It is incredible. I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
And I'm so happy I'm still living to see it all. Such big changes. You know, my day, oh my goodness, what a difference. What a difference.
Yeah. What advice would you give to young women today that are looking into aviation or engineering or...
Well, just follow your dream. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. Just keep studying, and you will be so proud of yourself. Your family will be so proud of you, and the world will be so proud of you, which they are now. I'm so proud of this younger generation. They're so intelligent. You know, I used to be interviewed by little kids, and they say, "What did you do in your day? You didn't have television. You didn't have computers. You didn't have a phone. You didn't. I said, we socialized. I said, people were more important than machines in those days."
Civil Air Patrol is here, and some of the cadets that are in this program and see a future for themselves in the Air Force or aerospace or any aeronautical engineering. What advice would you give specifically to them?
Oh my, I can't believe it. I'm so proud of all these women. They can do anything. They can. We couldn't. We didn't have the opportunity. They wouldn't let us anyway. You know, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. But now, in this generation, they've proven themselves. And I'm still living to see it. And I'm so glad. I'm so proud of all these women. So proud.
I have a question.
Look at this little girl here.
Did you and all the other Rosies dress like that iconic
Perfect.
poster we
No.
know so well?
No. That's why I hate to wear those things.
You mentioned the C-17 plane that you got to fly.
Ooh.
How was that?
Oh, that's the best day of my life, I think. we worked on it for 24 years. We built 279 of them. So when I got the chance to, when they gave me that Lifetime Achievement Award, the Air Force, they said, how would you like to fly in a C-17? Oh my God, it was just so wonderful. Like sitting in your living room, no turbulence. It was just so nice. And all of a sudden, we landed, and I didn't even feel like we landed. We're on the ground, how'd we get here? You know, I mean, there's it's just a beautiful plane. 4 hours in the air we had. It was just great. I'll never forget it. I was on cloud 9, I think I still am.
Yeah, that sounds incredible, and
Oh,
especially.
you'd love it. And I mentioned in one of my interviews that I give credit to all the co-workers I had, because they worked hard. We all worked hard in that plane. It was a lot of work, because at first, when I started working, we just had little small rivet guns, because the rivets were small, and the material wasn't very thick, like the C-17 is. So there was no pressure on them. So then when C-17 came, we had bigger rivet guns and thicker material, and you know, it just, different technology now, stronger technology,
Yeah.
and harder technology. It's harder
Definitely.
than it used to be, yes.
This is Chief Master Sergeant Jo Keller, a modern-day Rosie the Riveter.
Air medical evacuation here at March. I did that for 22 years. It was a very rewarding job, because when we would deploy, we'd be there to pick up the wounded military and DOD civilians, and our faces would bring hope. They'd look at our faces, and all you can see the smiles and stuff, because they knew when we arrived, when the back of the plane would open and we'd get off, they knew we were bringing them back home. So we would cook them chocolate chip cookies and make them hot dogs. It helped them be comfortable and be happy on the way home.
So you flew on the C-17s then?
C-17 is one of the many aircraft that I flew on, and one of the newest aircraft, which provided a lot more room, and it was a lot more comfortable to be able to bring patients in. But yes, we've also flown on the 135, also has capacity to bring patients, flown on the 130. This also, although not designated for medical evacuation, could provide that transportation if needed in a pinch. So we brought patients back in KC-10s and C-5s as well.
Oh, very cool.
So some of the neat things about the C-17 is that it could go and land in an austere landing strip on a very short dirt landing strip, and it could land and it could turn on a dime, and it's ready there to pick up troops and patients at a moment's notice. So it's an amazing aircraft. So I'm so happy that Rosie the Riveter is here to enjoy a product of her hard work.
If anyone has any questions out in the audience.
Yes?
No.
How did you feel when the war was finally over?
Everybody was so taken. The streets were filled with people. People ran all over the streets, kissing each other and everything. It was a madhouse. Oh yeah, people, and especially the military, of course. But it was wonderful. No, it was a great time when the war was over. People were crying, yelling, just every way of celebration you could think of. Yes.
How long did it take you to make a plane?
For all of us together, it takes a lot of people to make a plane. A whole lot of people. No, it takes months, or maybe 2 or 3 months. Technology, it was easier then. The planes were easier to work on than they are now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, smaller rivet guns, less pressure, just thin material.
How old were you when you went to work in the aircraft industry?
Let's see, 22, I think, 22, something like that, yeah.
Thank you.
I built airplanes for 68 years.
Wow.
People think that's nuts, but I like it. You can't understand why I did that.
You liked it?
But I enjoyed it. I did, because you're around people. I like to get up and get out of the house. Even now I'm retired, not retired. I did not retire, I was laid off. Because they closed the plant down. That's it. See, I never want to say retired, I never would have. They would have forced me to.
And you're such an active woman today. You don't like sitting at home. You like going out and being a part.
Yes, I do. At my age, 98, I am so grateful that I can still get out and walk and inspire people, like they say. So I don't know why, but I'm so grateful. God has been good to me, really. And I just love everybody. Everybody's been so kind. All you people, beautiful people that are smiling, I love you all. I do.
We're so inspired by you. I mean, you and your generation had the confidence to step out and do something new, and I think that's really a backbone for people today, and being able to step out of their comfort zone and do something new. And
oh, I'm so glad we did.
Yeah.
We were so happy to do that. At first, it was difficult, but the men were real nice. At first, they were kind of, they weren't sure. They had never worked with women. So, of course, when we got in there, well, pretty soon we became all good friends, real good friends, and did the job that we were supposed to do, that we was hired for. So, it was good.
Are one of the planes you worked on here at the museum?
No, I worked on the P-38. Okay. That was my favorite plane, the P-38.
There's one outside.
You have that?
Yes, it's outside.
Oh, you do?
Go see it.
Oh, that's my favorite plane.
well, would you like to go see your favorite plane right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the girls attend their favorite cocktail bar, sipping dry martinis, munching caviar. There's a girl who's really putting them to shame. Rosie, Rosie is her name. All day long with her rain or shine, she's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosie, the Riveter, keeps short lookout for sabotage. Sitting up there on the fuselage, that little friend can do more than a mill can do. Rosie, the Riveter. Rosie's got a boyfriend, Charlie. Charlie, he's a Marine.
Rosie is protecting
Charlie, working overtime on the riveting machine. When they gave her a production need, she was as proud as a girl could be. There's something true about red, white, and blue about Rosie, the Riveter.
Thank you so much for paving the way for generations of women to go into the workforce, for girls to consider getting into careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. I would like to invite you to watch more episodes of Veterans Helping Veterans TV on our YouTube channel. I would like to take this opportunity to say how grateful and thankful I am to the United States Air Force for what they do for us. Thank you so much.